This is the plug that goes into the audio output jack or speaker jack on your computer. They're usually 3.5 millimeters. Some of them are 2.5 millimeters. This is a coax cable. It's an audio cable. There is, as you can see here, I'm connected to a variable resistor, which you do not have to have. I had it for extra adjustment. I never use it. These two resistors are put in series with that variable resistor. Could just use resistors without the variable. This connector, I used two radios on this wire, so I have a connector to switch between the two radios. You do not need that if you're using one radio. You'll notice that the outer shielding is not connected to anything on this. It's just the center wire, the center conductor that I'm using. This is the TS-430s speaker plug. It's 8 pins. We'll look at this. You can see starting at the top, it says hole 2, but right next to it, there's a 1. That's pin 1. This here is a reference notch they use for lining it up when you plug it in. You have the pins 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 8 is in the center. But pin 1 is the one right next to that notch just above it. Okay, we're going to check the continuity of this to show that it's only the center conductor that's used. So I'm going to hook it up to this multimeter and we'll check the continuity of it. I'll hook the multimeter up to this little spade, and then I will put a probe in all the pins to make sure there's no shorts. We'll check each pin. And as you can see, that we have no continuity on any pin except the first one. Now we'll check the other half of it. We'll hook this to the center connector of that jack, or that pin, that plug, and check it right at the variable resistor. So with that, we have established that there's a continuity through there, and there are no shorts in the jack, in the microphone plug. We'll plug this back in, so we're including the entire cable, including all those two resistors and that variable resistor. We're going to set this to 200 kiloohms, and we want to measure the ohm value through the resistors. So there's the first one. It's 55.8 kiloohms. You can probably go anywhere from 50 ohms up to 70, maybe 80 ohms would be okay. And again, there's nothing going through the cable except just to that pin 1. That's pin number 1 on the TS430S Kenwood. So at the computer, we are going to plug this. I use the top front panel. There's a back panel you can use for audio. You'll plug it into the headphone jack. Think of it this way. The computer's mouth are the headphones. That's where the sound comes out of. The other one, the speaker, or the microphone, the microphone on the left there is its ear. That's where the audio goes in. So this cable is going to be connected to the radio's audio input, which would be essentially the radio's ear, is the way to think of that if you get confused which goes where. The computer's mouth goes to the radio's ear. The mic is the radio's ear. There's the little reference notch, which I've pointed out before. In this case, it's now on the bottom of the plug. Right there. That lines up with that little bump in the jack, and sometimes it's hard to get it exactly lined up. And it plugs in, and you screw it on. And that is how you hook up the computer to the radio. For sending, that will be for sending your FT8 or digital signal out. It'll work for FT8, any of the digital programs that your computer will run. And those are the resistors in series. You can put those at the beginning. You could put those right out on the jack itself, or on the plug, the audio plug on the computer end or on the radio end. I have them in the middle because, like I said before, I disconnect it into two because I have two radios I run that off of. And they don't take the same microphone plug or adapter. So again, it's in the audio output. This is the back of the computer. You have, I believe that's left, right. That's stereo for the sound. You can plug it into one or the other of the bottom, the green or the blue. You might even be able to plug it into the stereo, but you don't need to. You just have to plug a speaker in there to see which one is being used by your computer when you're running the digital. Mine seems to prefer the top front as I have had it set up. But those are your rear end jacks you can use. Okay, this is the audio cable for receiving the digital signal. This part goes into the computer. You connect the outer shielding to the longest tab and the center conductor to the short tab on both of these jacks, and both of these plugs. The long one goes to the longest or outer part, and the short one goes to the tip on both of those. The center conductor to the short one to the tip. The tip and the tip would have continuity, and then the long part will have connectivity. And you can test those with a meter, which I didn't do here. Here I'll screw the little shielding back onto each plug. then that goes in the microphone jack. Because you can think of that as the computer's ear. It's receiving the sound. The microphone is the ear. The phones or the speaker of the radio are its mouth. So it's talking to the computer. Okay, we are looking at the computer program for this is WSJTX. And is what you're going to do is set the, you're going to go into the radio, and the TS-430s is not mentioned. As you can see, it's not mentioned in here. So you have nothing to select here. You will leave it as none. And then you want to turn on the PTT method as Vox. These are your audio for the computer. And you have to pick which ones you have. Mine were what it said on there. The Realtek. Now this is the JTDX program. You go into settings, go into radio, and again, we'll show that even in this program, the TS-430s is not mentioned. The reason it's not mentioned is because it's a really old radio, and I don't think it can support anything from today's computers. So that's why you have to feed it into the microphone. And here's the same audio setup as your computer. And then your Vox, your press to talk method is Vox. Everything else is left blank. There used to be a window that said fake it. It seems to be not in either program anymore. So that's for the JTDX. Whichever program you use is your whatever one you prefer. Now here I was trying to demonstrate this and contact that station on the right screen. Here we are going to try and contact a station. We are in transmit mode now, and my signal is being sent. The green bar that moves on the bottom right corner is the transmit receive timer. We're now receiving. You'll see the green in the middle says monitor. So we're listening for that station's response. And we didn't get it, so it'll try. It'll automatically try again. Once you push transmit, enable transmit, it will transmit. After that green bar finishes up, we'll see if we got him. We're listening for him. As the monitor's green light is on, we know we're receiving. That red bar means he heard me and he responded, and my computer is now responding back to him. That yellow bar is my signal going out. At the end of the green run, it will, if the computer's agreed. Now notice on the bottom left, our ALC is 0. We have the Vox switch on and the ALC switch on the bottom. He responded. There's no, we're transmitting. There's no ALC reading. The Vox switch is on. We're putting out power, about 150 watts, which may not be necessary depending on your antenna. If you have a really good antenna, which I don't, you can use 5-10 watts. Now we're receiving, even though the red light says transmit on the screen, now it shuts off. We're done. There's the logging window. We have everything logged in there, and all we have to do is OK it, is confirm it. And we did. And that is how you do it. with the TS-430s. So you can use this technique on any kind of older radio, so long as you hook up the audio output from the computer to the microphone on the radio, and to the correct pin. And the pin is going to say something like audio in, or it'll say microphone, or it'll show a diagram of the from the center of the microphone into the correct pin. It could be on any radio, it could be different. It could be pin 1, 2, or any of them. I believe on this 520 it's pin 1. And then you hook it up like that, and you can operate it just like we do this TS-430s. Now there's one other thing that I didn't cover because I don't have one, and it's called a TNC, a terminal node connection or connector. And that you hook up completely different. I don't know how you do it, and I've never used one. There's a few out there. One is called Signal Link. This technique works too. The only thing on this technique is you've got to be careful to keep that ALC down, or you will overmodulate and cause spurious harmonics across the band and interfere with everybody, and it's illegal, and you're really kicking the hornet's nest if you do that wrong. So always keep the ALC down. If you have a terminal node connector, those help you eliminate that problem. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.